Good evening, Barry Levinson. I have two things I'd like to speak about tonight. Yes, can you hear me better now? One of the things I'd like to speak about is the fact that myself and Joe Ambriano, not once but twice in the past week, attempted to file a police report at the Fullerton Police Department. And both times we were stymied. The last time the sergeant on duty, Sergeant Clander, refused to take our police report, stating that he didn't believe a crime was committed. What we were trying to report was our belief that on the night or the early morning hours on November 9th, 2016, our former police chief committed obstruction of justice by not arresting Joe Feltz that evening. By obstructing his four officers at the scene, not to do their job, not to give him a breathalyzer, not to arrest him, as even though the district attorney has now filed not one but two charges against our former city manager. One was DUI and one was leaving the scene of an accident with injuries, with damage. It's inconceivable that it's obvious that he got special treatment. It's obvious that there was probable cause because the Orange County District Attorney has filed those two charges. But yet our esteemed former city police chief, on one of his last official acts, decided to give Joe Feltz a pass. Now, I know for a fact, and all of you know for a fact, that an ordinary citizen would not get to speak to the police chief at 2 o'clock in the morning. And it's funny, I'm reading his memo, and all I have to do is read the memo that Dan Hughes provided and know that, in fact, there was obstruction. Because if there was, he should have been, if in fact the Fullerton Police Department was an upstanding police department, our former city police chief should have been so angry that the officers on scene didn't do their job and yet felt compelled to call him at 2 o'clock in the morning. And none of you have seen fit to talk about it. Shame on you. Shame on you. One last thing, I got 30 seconds left. I've noted that my Bank of California on Rosecrans and Euclid is about to close. It's being bought by developers. They're already talking about putting a mixed use there. It's funny that they're closing down shops and they're losing money. Seems pretty obvious to me that there was a handshake between the city of Fullerton and the developers, because if not, they wouldn't take that type of risk. But we're going to fight it because that is not zoned for mixed use, and we don't want it. And we're putting you on notice. Thank you.